A huge presence here,
Yeah.
and we've been seeing and hearing some of the helicopters taking off here behind us, lined up here behind us as well, so a very unique perspective today.
The Mountain Post was named after Brigadier General Kit Carson, who was a member of the U.S. Army during the Indian Wars after the Civil War in the late 1800s. He was both a frontiersman and a scout and set up a number of temporary forts all across the area.
But it wouldn't be until the mid-1900s that Fort Carson was established, and it has a really unique history of why Colorado Springs was chosen and what it was meant to do for our area. In the early 1940s, the city of Colorado Springs purchased land and donated it to the War Department. Construction began immediately on Camp Carson, the first military installation in Colorado Springs.
How the camp was set up in January of 1942.
Daniel Roberts is the curator of the 4th Infantry Division and Fort Carson Museum. He says the city won its bid to get a training base here because of the great landscape.
Both the natural views, but more importantly, open, undeveloped space. There was a large number of ranches here that were purchased by the city and the federal government.
He says that gives about 200,000 acres of training range, and adding in Pinyon Canyon,
Available training spaces well over 300,000 acres.
And the space was perfect for World War II training. There are mountains like the Alps, wide open spaces like the fields of northern France, and dense foliage like Central Europe, giving the soldiers a unique opportunity to train for all landscapes. In 1954, well after World War II ended, Camp Carson was designated as a permanent facility and was changed to Fort Carson.
A lot of people were in the local area were kind of afraid that it was going to go away, because before Camp Carson came, Colorado Springs was a tourist town. It was a winter excursion town, and it was in decline. So that was the main impetus to get Camp Carson here, was to revitalize the town.
Currently, it's home to the 4th Infantry Division, which is sometimes stationed elsewhere in the country, but they've been here in southern Colorado since about 2009.
It's remarkable how central Fort Carson is in southern Colorado, and it's really how many people across the country identify the Pikes Peak region is because of Fort Carson. And as of last year, there were 75,000 people living and working here, and active military personnel just a little over 26,000.
There's so much more history to Fort Carson and Camp Carson than you can tell in a minute and 30-second package story. So you can come and check out the visitor center and get a little bit more information. They've got some really neat artifacts that you can check out as well.
It's worth seeing.